Hello everyone, welcome to room W163. We're going to take a quick video tour of the room so that you can get yourselves organized in your new space and you feel more comfortable in the science classroom and you can be ready for a successful school year. So first up, let's take a look at the front of the room. Of course, at the front of the room you have the smartboard and the whiteboard. On the whiteboard in the right hand corner, every day you'll have the day and the date, so you can keep track of that in your notebook. It's ready to go. Also on the front, in the front of the room, on the display desk, you will see piles of paper. On the left hand side you have the environmental science papers, and on the right hand side you have the material science papers. Now usually you guys don't have to do anything with them, but there are going to be times when I ask you to go get the papers from the front of the room, or if we have a substitute, it might be helpful to help to direct them where they need to look for things. Okay. Other things include the seating charts up there, as well as you have the printer over here. Now you guys can't print from it, but I can print from it, and we'll use that throughout the year. Okay. Also on the side counter over here, environmental science students have globe folders, one for each class. That's where we're going to be keeping records of the data that we collect for our globe project. Okay. On the right hand side of the whiteboard you see some space taken up by pictures right now. That information will change throughout the school year as we change from topic to topic. Another little thing we should probably know about the front of the room, the windows there are tinted. They're a little darker than other windows to help with the light that comes in from the south. Now as we get closer to winter and as the sun sinks lower in the sky throughout the day, it does shine in our classroom window and actually affects the first two rows of students. So we will pull down blinds that are in the windows later in the year. You can't always tell they're those restaurant blinds that you have, so they are sort of see-through, but not completely. So it's going to seem a little darker in the classroom than it is outside. Okay, there we go. Now the other side of the smartboard, on the left-hand side, is the information board. Basically, the biggest pieces of information that you have the classroom rules there, right? We also have the teacher creed and some other reminders, but you have copies of the daily schedule and the different schedules as we go for 2-hour delays and CTSO days. Also, if you need to get a hold of me, you have the contact information, the contact email, and how you log on for your computer and your email. So those are up front. Okay, now let's take a peek at the back of the room. Now this is where a lot of stuff is happening, and we have our student center. Okay, so back of the room, first of all, you have your notebook storage right here. So you can keep each period has a crate where you can store your notebook for the afternoon, for the evening, and you can get it back the next day. So if you want to keep that there, you can. It's good so you don't lose it in your backpack. Okay, you have Kleenexes back here. There are glue sticks for our notebooks when we start adding extra paper to our notebooks, as well as actually extra paper if you ever need it. Okay, but right behind all of those things, you have a bin. Now these bins, one's environmental science, one's material science, so make sure you pay attention to the labels. But there are file folders, and those folders will hold all the assignments that are handed out to you throughout the 9 weeks. So if you're ever missing anything, don't worry about it. There are extra copies back there. So if you ever have a missing assignment come in, or you notice something or I mention it, you can always go to the back and get an extra copy. Okay, so I know it's not always easy to keep track of our papers. We're trying to make sure that everybody's as successful as they can be. Of course, on the back wall you have the school calendar, the schedule again, as well as the Success Center tutors. That's all behind the paper turn-in trays that we have for each class period, starting at the top and then on the way down to 8th period. So on the edge of each of those trays there are period numbers, so just make sure you're putting it in the appropriate tray for your class. Okay. The other resource you have back here is something we call the return folders. Each of you is going to create a folder with your name on it, okay? And those folders are going to be placed back here, and when I have graded assignments, I'm going to return them into your folder. Or if you are absent at the I will take any work that was handed out the day you were absent and put it in your return folders. They're like sort of like mailboxes for you to receive your mail. Okay, so you're going to turn assignments into the assignment tray and get folders out of the return, or get papers out of the return folders. Okay, so right now actually I want you guys to stop, pause a minute, pause the video, and get up, go back to the back counter, and you're going to find some folders there, the plastic tabs to hold the label, and some pieces of paper for your label. I'm going to grab the marker that's back there, put your first name and your last name on the label, go ahead and put it in the plastic label holder, put the plastic label holder in the folder, and go ahead and line it up in the return folder bin. Okay, so pause your video. Okay, did you get your folder made? Great, glad to hear it. A couple other things that are happening in the back of the room. Of course, we have recycle bins, which are always important, right? Now, there are 2 recycle bins back here. The blue one is for paper only, and the green one is for the plastic water bottles that you have to recycle. So those are what you're going to use back there. Of course, you've also got the pencil sharpener. Sometimes it's hard to remember. There is the school lunch calendar, as well as a fire extinguisher for safety. Also, speaking of safety, we'll go over in a second, there are directions for where you need to go for both the fire drill and the tornado drill, which we'll go over in a second, on the wall. And then you have this big red button. It says emergency gas shut off. Okay. Now, it's a button. Yes, I understand that. But please do not touch it. You won't see any difference. Nothing will happen that you will see if you hit that button. Unfortunately, a system thing will shut down and notify the custodians, so they have to come all the way down to the room, make sure that the gas is turned back on to the appropriate place, and have to take care of that. So please don't touch it. You won't notice anything, and it's not worth it. Let's say it that way. Okay. Also, speaking of safety, let's go ahead and talk about other lab safety equipment in the classroom besides that fire extinguisher. Okay, you also have in the back room, if you can see the door jamb right there, as soon as you go into the storage space, you see a little pentagon shaped room. Okay, right next to the door you will find the MSDS sheets for all the materials that are used in our classes. Next to those we have goggles, but I'll have those out in the lab when we're ready to use them. That's just the goggle sanitizing machine. Okay. On the wall, hanging on a hook, you see a red bag. That is actually the fire blanket. Okay. Fire blankets are used to help smother fire. So we need that in case somebody actually sets themselves on fire, or another classmate, so I'm hoping we will never have to use that, right? Okay. And then this big orange contraption here is, you guessed it, the emergency shower. So you just pull that lever there. Now, of course, it's in the back room, so nobody should be back there without permission. But don't use the shower if you don't have to, because you might notice that there is actually no drain in the floor, so the water just goes on the floor. It's actually not that safe of a safety issue, because then, of course, we have all that water and whatever else you spill on yourself going all over the floor. So if you need to use it, we have to act quickly. Okay. The other piece of safety equipment that's in the classroom, so right outside the storage room, there is a sink. Now there are other sinks in the room, but this one has a place for you to wash your hands, towels there, and on the front you will notice these two green plastic covers. Those are for the eye wash station. So if you ever have to if you get everything in your eyes, what we do is we pull out the tab in the front and the water spouts up into, so you can put it in your face and you can wash out your eyes for you. We've had to use it before. Please, let's not use it this year. Okay? Now, other safety notes for the class. Let's talk tornado drill. Okay? If and when we have a tornado drill, we will head back down into the center hallway where there are no doors, outside doors, outside windows, outside walls, and you will line up within this hallway as much as possible, okay? Either side, not in front of a doorway, and of course you'll sit facing toward the wall, ready and waiting for more discussion. You please need to sit quietly. When we are quiet, the more quickly the drill is done, okay? Now, depending on the time of the day, this hallway can get pretty crowded here. So there are going to be times when you're having to go into the welding hallway to sit there, and we have even had to have students sit inside the men and women's restroom, respectively. So, okay, that's where we go for a tornado drill. Now, fire drill, we're going to head outside, okay? And when we get out to the bullpen, just outside our classroom door, we are going to head to this area right here behind the row of cars. So sort of just beyond the center. This is where we're heading for a fire drill. So please walk carefully between the cars. Don't scratch anybody's new stuff. Okay? And find me and wait. Well, I should be with you, but wait for further directions. Okay? Any other questions at this time? Stop and let me know. You are free to move on to the next portion of your lesson. Have a wonderful day.